Hey everybody, and welcome to Kinda Crafty Kenzie. So today's video is extra special because we are going to do a little tribute to the US of A in lieu of today being 9/11's 20-year anniversary. So we're going to make some cute patriotic decor. I did want to share with you this craft kit is so cute. This came to me from my friend Liz over at More Decal and Decor, and her channel is linked below along with the link to her craft store. I have gotten all kinds of stuff from her. I cannot wait to share with you the fall stuff that I have coming up soon in a fall tier tray decor. Or tier tray cutie decor, I guess you could say. But anyways, I didn't get to make this stuff for the 4th of July because I was on a little break from YouTube then, but I am going to make some of the stuff here today for our little patriotic tier tray. So anyways, first you're going to see me paint the beads that she sent in that little wood cut out of the USA, and it does come with the beads you can use as well, and even the jute twine. So I know you're seeing some orange beads, and that threw me off for a second while I was editing this, but I'm also working on fall stuff obviously too, but I just wanted to put these on there and get these up as well. So anyways, all I did was paint those beads a red, white, and blue, obviously, and now I am just doing some antique wax on the little country wood cutout, and now I'm just going to distress it very slightly with some white chalk paint, just lightening it up mostly around the edges, definitely not taking away from that natural wood tone. Liz has amazing craft kits in her little online store. Beautiful stuff, you guys. Please check out that link. You're gonna fall in love. Her prices are so reasonable, and all of the stuff is so adorable. Oh, and now I'm just going to take those beads and string them onto that jute twine. And I did do red, white, and blue, and I kept with that like sequence all the way out. I made sure when I painted them that I divided the beads up evenly so that I had the same amount of each color so that they would come out even in the end. And then I just took what was left of that twine that she included, and I made a nice little tassel for the end of this beaded garland. And I think this turned out so cute. I couldn't have made something this adorable without her. Honestly, she pretty much did most of the work here with cutting out the wood and sending the beads and such, and I just painted it and put it together, but I'm in love. If you are new to my channel today, I just want to take a second and say welcome. My name is Mackenzie, aka Kenzie. I am a stay-at-home mom to 3 little girls, and I am from a very small rural town in Pennsylvania. I am obsessed with anything to do with home decor, so I love to DIY, repurpose, turn trash to treasure, craft, upcycle, recycle, and of course a thrift flip. So if you love stuff like that, you are going to love it here. I can also be found over on Instagram and on Facebook, all under Kinda Crafty Kenzie, and all of those links are in my description box of this video and in my bio. Now let's craft some more. For this and next DIY, we are going to go ahead and take this little palette from the Dollar Tree. If you notice, it is damaged just slightly on the top there, but what I'm going to do with this today is going to cover that boo-boo right up, and you all probably hear my Stella cat just meowing her little heart out. That is because my kids went outside and left her trapped inside with me, so she's mad and wants outside. But anyways, what I did first here obviously was just give this entire palette front and back a nice like one coat of the white chalk paint. I definitely wanted to get the back because I like it to look complete because it will be on a tier tray, and some of this is going to be left white, so I kind of killed 2 birds with one stone here. This little piece of wood that y'all see me standing, I actually got this off of those little planter boxes, like the pumpkins and the acorns, and I pry them apart and then just use like the pumpkin and the acorn. So this little piece of wood was the part that like holds it all together. I'll insert a picture here if I remember of what I'm talking about, but it's also from the Dollar Tree. So save your scraps when you tear stuff apart, you guys. So as you can see, I am painting a flag on this palette, and it's perfect because like the wood is evenly spaced, and I did get some bumps of red or white here or there, and I did just go back and touch it up. No big deal. But that little piece of wood that I was just talking about worked perfect for the part of the flag with the stars. So I went ahead and painted that blue, the dark blue. I think it's called Ocean from Waverly. It's such a pretty blue, you guys. I love that color. And all I did was just hot glue that down. So this turned out like the perfect little flag. I was so excited when I thought of this. I totally did not see this anywhere. This came in my brain all on its own. I'm so proud of my brain today. So anyways, then I went ahead and grabbed one of these little stars. My aunt has given me a big bag of like little wooden stars that I use a lot in this video today, and I thought that this little star would be a lot easier to use to represent all the states instead of drawing a whole bunch of little tiny stars. So that's what we went. So this isn't traditional. This is what you call the Americana, I guess you could say, but it works. Then I just went ahead with some of that antique wax and gave this flag just a little bit of distressing, because we still got to pull in that farmhouse theme. You know how it is over here on my channel. We love the farmhouse. We love to distress. So that is what I did for this. And I think this turned out so adorable. It was so easy, you guys, and cost like $1. So I love it. I am obsessed with little rolling pins, especially on my tier trays. So I definitely have to make one for all the seasons and holidays. So I absolutely had to incorporate one for our little Patriotic tier tray. Now, my husband usually makes my little rolling pins for me. He did not make this one. I actually did go ahead and buy some off of Amazon because I drive him crazy with all the things I want him to cut out and make for me. And so I thought this would just save him some time. So I went ahead, like I said, I will link that link below from Amazon. You can also get them from Hobby Lobby, but I was sold out. My store was sold out. So anyways, as you can see, I painted it white. It does have some texture in the middle. That is because I had wrapped it with scrapbook paper. That didn't work out for me, so I went ahead and sanded that down. Then I just spray painted it with white, distressed it with the red and the blue and some of the antique wax. And then I went ahead and tied the white, the red, the blue, and a natural brown jute twine. Just made a regular shoelace bow, attached it to the rolling pin, then took one of these little stars from that bag from my aunt that I talked about, just distressed it with antique wax, and it's all done. This next DIY also came from the 4th of July little craft kits from Liz's website. So don't forget, I left that link down in the description box. Guys, make sure you head over there and check them out. They are so simple to DIY, and she even includes instructions on her site on how you could DIY them if you're not quite sure how to paint them or what to paint them. And you can always watch her videos where she does feature items from her craft kits as well. So like I said, everything's linked below. So as you can see, I just went ahead and painted the backing of like this little truck scene with the Waverly wax and then wiped off the excess. I love how it looks like a beautiful piece of wood just stained. It looks so nice. Now I did go ahead and just paint the truck with some red chalk paint. This is lacquer from Waverly because I kind of followed Liz's color scheme and such with this, because I'm a little intimidated painting her craft kits sometimes because they are so cute and you don't want to mess them up, and she paints her stuff so gorgeously. So I don't know, I didn't want to bring shame to her little craft kits. But you guys, I did want to say that if you are interested in purchasing them, in my description box is also a link for a 10% off discount code, so all of my Kinda Crafty Kenzie subscribers will be able to take advantage of that code anytime you order something from her site. But okay, so as you can see, I just painted the truck red. I only gave it one coat of the chalk paint because it does have like the little laser cuts in it, and if you paint too heavily you will kind of fill those in, and I definitely did not want to do that. Then I took a paint marker and did the red stripes on the flag, and as you can see, I'm taking another paint marker and doing the blue on the flag. I do recommend painting these with a paint marker because those are some tiny little detailed lines, but all that little detail is what makes it so adorable. So these paint markers, I've had them for over a year now. They are about done on me, but they are linked below. I will get more. It's just that, they're getting old. And the white one I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, as you can see on my poor little flag, we did have a little boo-boo because my red paint marker kind of like burped paint out at me in the middle of it. So as you can see, I did have to go over a little heavier with the white paint marker. and it is from the Dollar Tree, and you do kind of have to go over it a couple times. My other white paint marker is done, dried out. I've used it to the extent it said I'm done, so I need to get some more paint markers. This is what I'm trying to say. So then I used my universal Dollar Tree tool that I use for like anything and everything I could think of, and I went ahead and tried to fill in those little teeny tiny laser stars. And then I messed up a little bit here and there with that white. It was kind of difficult to get in the teeny tiny, so I did go over it with a little bit of the blue to kind of blend it together. For the tires, I used my like fatter tip paint markers that I've also linked below. They are from Amazon as well. To do, as you can see, I did the center of the tire white, and then I did the outside of it, of course, black. I love paint markers because they dry really quickly, just like chalk paint, but you can go ahead like I do and just use your heat gun over it just to make sure it's all dry before you start to distress it or put it together. So then I just went over my little truck with some of that antique wax that was left in my brush because I wanted to distress it just slightly. And you guys, this glue that I'm using is the Super Wood glue from Dollar Tree. It is bomb.com and is so awesome. It dries rather quickly, and if you get any of it out, like if any of it kind of seeps out, don't fear, it dries clear. So I love this. Next one, we are going to use this 2022 Farm Fresh calendar from the Dollar Tree. Of course, we're going to use that 4th of July print with that adorable truck on it. Now, this little frame that you see, it did also come from Dollar Tree, and I am just going to disassemble it and go ahead and pop those words off. I tried so hard to keep it together. I made it right to the end and broke it, but that's okay. Anyways, I don't know if I'd ever use it anyway, but I just wanted to save it. So then I'm just painting that little piece, like the backing of that little frame. I'm just going to paint it with some white chalk paint. I just gave it one coat because it's really kind of just to cover up the brown that is the backing. As you can see, I did cut the calendar page. I only cut off the freedom because that's the only part of this calendar picture we're going to use. So for the frame itself, I went ahead and gave it a pretty decent coverage coat of the red lacquer chalk paint. Now this frame is not wood, it is plastic. It's like a faux looking, it's like a faux wood looking plastic. There we go. So it is kind of weird when you're painting it. It kind of like makes your paint, I don't know, I can't even explain it, almost like greasy, I guess you could say. So make sure you let it dry because it will take a little longer to dry than like regular wood. So now I'm just going to go ahead and Mod Podge that freedom word down. It fits just right. I did have to trim it down pretty good, but luckily I didn't have to part with any of the words. It kind of almost reminds you of Ray Dunn a little bit, that lettering just a little bit. I like the skinny farmhouse wording like that. So I went ahead and Mod Podged that down, and then I went over top of it with a little more Mod Podge. So while I let that Mod Podge dry for a while, I went ahead over top of the red frame with my white chalk paint and gave it like a really heavy whitewashed look. It's kind of like what you would do over like raw wood just to make it look whitewashed, but instead of raw wood, it's painted red. So now I'm going to take my little finger sander and just kind of sand the edges of that scrapbook paper while it was still a little bit damp from the Mod Podge because I wanted it to blend in a little bit more with the backing of the frame. Then I took the antique wax and just went over it really, really heavy. That way it all blended in, and you can still see that it's like, to me it just looks like the paint of like a picture or something is chipping up versus like it's something glued down onto something. So I did choose to leave the sawtooth hanger attached, and I did leave the little reinforcers on the back of the frame, which I'm closing up now, instead of hot gluing this all together. Then I went over top of the frame with some antique wax to distress it, of course, to make it match the rest of the sign. Now, I didn't feel you really needed to see me paint beads because, I mean, we've seen me paint beads and it's pretty self-explanatory, but I get these beads from Amazon, and I 100% have these linked below for you. And I just went ahead and painted them with some of that ocean blue color that I've been using this entire video. As you can see, I don't get full coverage. I don't worry about it. No big deal. But then I just went ahead and strung them onto some jute twine, which you could absolutely use for a hanger, or you can hang it with the sawtooth hanger on the back, whatever you prefer. but I just knotted it off where I wanted the length to be so that the beads wouldn't roll off anyway after you glue it to the sign, but you know what I mean. So then I just went ahead and glued this down to the backing of the sign. And then a little trick that I actually picked up, I can't remember where I picked it up at. I saw somebody do it on YouTube, so I totally stole it, was to go ahead and just put down some burlap to kind of make your hanger not look so, I don't know, yucky in the back, I guess you could say. Then I distressed those little beads with some antique wax, and we're all done. This next one, we are going to use the Simply Blessed 2021 calendar from the Dollar Tree from last year. And then that little star is also from the Dollar Tree. So as you can see, I am just going to go ahead and cut out the words. I didn't want to use any of the floral or any of the stars or greenery off of this picture. I just wanted the words. I wanted this to be a super simple, very, very just like not much to it decor piece. Again, you can hang this at the end. You'll see it can be hung if you wish, or you can just sit it on your tier tray as well. That's what I did with it, but you will see. So it's kind of versatile what you want to do with it. Either way works. But I just gave this one good coat of the white chalk paint. Then I went ahead and used some Mod Podge. I am like trying to scrape out the last little bit that's in this jar. It's like clear at the bottom. This jar has lasted me like a year. If you guys would see the size of the jar I have now, it is ginormous. It's like 36 ounces. I don't think I'll ever run out of Mod Podge. So then I went ahead and Mod Podged this calendar page down. And then I Mod Podged on top of it as well. Now it was like I had too much. Like first I didn't have enough. Now I have too much. Like I can't find the happy medium. But after this dried for a little while, it had to dry a little bit longer than like 15 minutes because I didn't want it to completely like ruin the picture. After it was like decently dry, I went back over it with my little finger sander like I did in my last DIY. I think this just kind of helps the picture or the calendar page blend in with the project that you're attaching it to. It's not perfect because obviously there is a little bit of color differential between the calendar page and the white star, but you can't be too picky when you're DIYing a calendar or a picture like this. So anyways, like I said, then I just went ahead and blended it in together with some antique wax to try to help it look really, really rustic. Then I just took some nautical rope and kind of untwirled it to make it like a little skinnier and make it almost like 3 pieces of twine. And then I just strung it through the star, tied it in a knot at the top, and this little star is all done. Trusting our wings to fly. This next DIY, I am just going to use 2 of these like original size Jenga block pieces. It's not the tumbling tower tiny ones, it's like the original game size pieces. So, and then that little piece of wood, that like little square piece of wood I'm using was just something that I've had that I probably had from another project, or my husband had it for scrap wood, and I just have a whole bunch of raw wood that I use that I work with here and there. So I did attach those Jenga pieces on each end of the little block. As you can see, I'm kind of making like a way to display like a picture. I don't want to call it a frame. You'll see. So I'm using these calendars again, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out this Land of the Free with the picture of the country on it. And then from that Simply Blessed, I am going to go ahead and use that same picture that I just DIY'd with, but it looks different because it includes the entire picture of the little back pieces of the calendar that you can cut out and use too. So I just covered this entire little picture display block. I don't know what the right word would be. With white chalk paint. Just one coat of white chalk paint was fine. And I did glue this together with that wood super glue from Dollar Tree and some hot glue. I painted the entire little thing white, and then somehow I did not record me Mod Podging these little calendar pictures down on each side of this. That way, whatever way you're looking at it on the tier tray, you can have something on either side, or if you want to flip it, if you like one side better than the other, whatever you want to do. It's a versatile piece, and I just went over it and distressed it with some of the antique wax. And then I am taking, again, those couple colors of twine, the white, the blue, the red, and then of course the traditional brown jute twine, and I just made a shoelace belt. I made 2 of these, one for each side, and this little tier tray cutie is all finished. Guys are still with me at this point, don't forget to wait till the end to see the final reveal on all these projects and how they look on my tier tray. So for this next one, I am just going to use a bunch of stars that I have in my stash. The star that I'm painting right now actually came from Michael's. I got it a while back for like 25 cents. It was just one of those random sales that they had on random things, and I was buying stuff for spring. So I saw these like little wood pieces were like super duper cheap. So I just grabbed a few. All of these other stars that I am painting, they came from that bag of stars that came from my aunt. So there's a whole bunch of different sizes for that bag of stars that she gave me. I'm not quite sure where she got all these little wood pieces from, but I am not complaining. So I painted 2 stars red, 2 white, and 2 blue. You're gonna see there is a size differential, and there is a reason for that. So I was literally just playing with stars, sitting here talking to my daughter, and like kind of just playing with the stars, and was like, wait a second, this would be like a really cool DIY. So I am going to glue these stars on top of each other, and they're going to go in order of like the red, white, and blue, but then they're also going to go in order for size. So it just worked out so perfect. I was so excited, so easy. Pretty much all I paid for here was 25 cents for the star from Michael's, if you want to count that. And of course the paint and glue I already had, and my aunt gave me the other ones. But this is something you could do with even larger stars that you could get. Like, what a cute idea. I definitely want to incorporate this with a larger piece next year for maybe like a door hanger or something. So I'm so excited about 4th of July and all of the patriotic holidays already for next year. I can't even get through fall yet. I'm already thinking about 4th of July again. So again, I just used that super wood glue from the Dollar Tree. You can see it does have some white coming out the edges. You guys, I promise it dries clear. But how cute is that? And so easy. This next one is another super duper simple one and pretty much virtually free. So this plank came from the Dollar Tree. You guys know you get 6 of them in a pack for $1. And then all I'm doing is giving it that same like stained effect. I did do both sides of this. So again, white, or the Waverly antique wax, put it on, wipe it off, wax on, wax off kind of thing, paint on, wipe off, whatever. Anyways, that's what I did for this whole entire little wood plank. So now I'm going to go forging in my bag of stars. You guys can see, look at all those stars. It's insane. So I went ahead and grabbed 6 stars of the same size. So that's what I'm doing here, is just getting them out for size comparison. And I wanted to do a two-sided piece. Obviously on a tier tray, I like to do that. And we know that already. We've talked about that. So I painted 2 red, 2 blue, 2 white, obviously. And then what I had in my brain, and I wish I could show you, but it's scary in there, and I don't invite too many people in there. But like, I kept seeing like a vision of where they hang on the wall, and there's like red, white, and blue star, and like it's so simple, and they just, I don't know. So that's kind of what I was trying to put into play here. It might click for some of you, it might not. Again, my mind is a scary place, and again, like, just stay out of there. So I went ahead and started placing these down, and I thought I would get all technical and get my ruler out, and I would get like measure and make sure they were all going to be in a line. And then I was like, nope, can't do it. So I wanted them to be like a staggered look. That's kind of what I prefer, is when something's kind of staggered looking versus in a straight line. My brain is like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird how my brain works, guys. It's just weird. So I went ahead and hot glued these stars down, and I did this to both sides of this, so both sides are identical, but this was such a simple little piece to make. Again, it cost like $1, and so cute for a little tier tray. It's just too cute and too easy not to do. For this next one, we are going to make a little stack of books, some patriotic books for our tier tray. Guys, I am sad to say this is the last of my little walnut blocks that my husband had cut out for me. I have been using these since last fall when I started my channel. I've talked about them in the past that I had quite a few of these, but I've used them so much in so many projects that I have finally ran out. So now I'm going to have to bug him to cut me some more little wood blocks like this, because I need to make more and more books. because you can't have a tier tray without a little stack of books. They're just too cute. So, of course, guys, guess what colors we're going to use? Red, white, and blue. So, as you can see, I'm just painting them red, white, and blue. And then we are going to glue these together using a little bit of that wood super glue and a little bit of hot glue. You know, Dollar Tree really needs to sponsor this video, or the maker of this glue does, for as many times as I have, like, plugged it in here. Like, I've talked about this glue so much. I think they need to send me, like, a lifetime supply. So, who do I call to make that happen? Just let me know. Just drop it in the comments. So, after I had those all painted and all glued together, I decided to incorporate some more stars for on top of my book. Now, as you can see, I'm going in reverse order of red, white, and blue. I'm doing it the blue against the red because I didn't want red against the red. So, your red, white, and blue goes from little to big versus big to little. You guys might not even really have noticed that or cared to know that, but I really felt the need to tell you that. So then here we are with that glue again. Sponsorship. And I'm going ahead and just gluing those stars together. And then I chose the blue for the bottom of the books, obviously. And then I just glued some jute twine. And now I'm just going to wrap it around very strategically, trying to make it look like, yes, I just sloppily wrapped my books together with this jute twine, but actually it's taking me 25 minutes to do this because I am that much of a perfectionist that the twine has to lay a certain way and look a certain way. But nope, I just threw this twine on here slop. Yeah, that's how it really is, guys. So when I got to the end, I just glued that last little piece of twine down and then just simply cut it. So of course we're going to distress those stars a little bit. We're going to distress those books a little bit. And then we are going to go ahead and attach those stars down onto the top of that jute twine here in a second. I'll get done distressing here soon. I really wanted you to see how I distress these books. Okay, there we go. So now we're just going to go ahead and attach the star down. And I love it, but I need a little more something. So I made just a teeny tiny little bow, and so cute. How could you not adore them? I love little books. Anyways, you guys, here is everything on my tier tray. And yes, it is a little sparse because obviously at this point in time, I have all of my Patriotic decor put away and my fall stuff out. But this is just what I wanted to show you that I made. And yes, this tier tray is 100% homemade by my husband. I actually have this in a few different colors and sizes that I'm going to start featuring in more videos because we are getting ready to start selling tier tray with decor on them. So it'll be seasonal, like fall, maybe some Halloween, definitely Christmas, Easter, spring, summer, of course, patriotic, and then even like your basic farmhouse or something like that. So he made this, completely made this. We are going to have video on how he makes it here soon. But for this video, I thought I would just give you a little taste of what's coming. So make sure you are subscribed so you see that these are going to come up for sale and how you can purchase one if you're interested. But you guys, I wanted to make this little video today with all this patriotic decor to pay tribute to America for everything we've been through. I can't believe it's been 20 years since 9/11. Oh my gosh, I feel so old. But if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you're not. And I will see you guys super soon in my next one. Bye.